Hey guys, this is Dennis, the founder of Think Hero.
And I'm David Griffin, your resident comic book and video game guru.
And this is our review of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Yes, Superman is back. It's back in back in fashion, new suit, a lot of action. You know, it's a new Superman. It's a Superman for our generation.
Yeah, so overall, I'd say I really liked it. I can't say that I loved it.
Yeah.
Just because there were some issues here and there. But I did really like it. How about you?
I agree. I really enjoyed it. There's just some issues with some of the storytelling. You know, the kind of this non-linear approach. I didn't mind it, but I felt like the director Snyder and Goyer both, the writer, needed to slow down a little bit. I feel like they were trying to speed through something that's like 2.5 hours. But you guys can take your time. You can probably get a second movie. You don't need to tell a huge story in one movie. I think they were trying to do too much in one movie, but I still enjoyed it. I still had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the main issues I had were when they were kind of going back and showing the Clark Kent as the younger years.
Right.
It was kind of like more like a montage of events and kind of the stuff that you saw in the trailer was pretty much it.
That's it. Yeah.
They didn't like expand. I was hoping that there was going to be like much more context for some of the scenes, but really they kind of brushed over. It almost seemed like a Cliff Note version of his past.
I wish I would have spent more time in Smallville.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of wanted to see more interaction with his mom and dad, and I wanted to see more story along those lines. I don't know. I just felt like they, again, rushed through it. They just like said, okay, we got to get to this so we can get to the action. We got to keep moving forward. And I'm like, no, like take time and slow down a little bit.
I also thought the visuals are really, really great. And the score, Hans Zimmer's score was great. You know, you can hear it throughout.
Right.
And, but there's lots of action, almost in a sense too much action.
I think they
especially because they weight it all at the end.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's action throughout the movie, but they put a big chunk because there's basically two giant sequences. At the very end, so it's almost like 40 minutes of straight action.
Right, it wasn't like Transformers heavy bad, like Transformers 3, like where it was just like an hour of an action sequence. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was heavy. Where I was like, I would have liked a little bit more character development and a little less action, even though the action was just incredible. I mean, the fight sequences, I mean, the punching, I mean, man, they got some property damage up in this movie. I mean, I don't even know how they got away with all that, but I mean, it was really, really cool to see all that.
One of the other things that I did like, I like the Fiora character.
I love Michael Shannon, but I almost wish she was the main villain.
Oh, really?
One, because, I mean, she looks good. You know, she was in that movie Pandorum, a small sci-fi movie, came out a few years ago. And she's good. She was tough. She was ruthless.
Yeah, I liked her. I liked her, the action scenes with her. No, Michael Shannon as Zod, I liked him. I thought he was good. Yeah. You know? The cast was good. The acting was good. I just think maybe some of the dialogue and some of the story could have been tightened up a bit. And when I say tightened up, it could be expanded as well. You know, when I say tighten up, that doesn't mean
it could have been longer.
Needs to be shorter.
Yeah.
Tighten up, I mean things need to be, I think, put in place better.
Right. But I wanted to say too, just to give the movie a little praise here, is that I thought this is the first time I've ever seen Superman actually be Superman. Like in the old, movies, with Christopher Reeves, he's kind of flying like this and doing this and, like throwing something, he was just kind of doing his thing. But this time we actually got to see him punch and hit and destroy buildings and just fly. Like, I mean, almost like a speeding bullet, like the old, show used to say. So I think it was great to see it in this movie. I actually got to see some awesome action sequences with Superman fighting. It felt like he was the most powerful being on Earth fighting.
Yeah, I think they were compensating for Superman Returns because that was something that just
like having bullets like fly and hit you and hit your eye. And it's like, okay, come on,
So yeah, like I don't know, I liked it. Obviously, it's better than Superman Returns, but I actually kind of also compare it to the Dark Knight trilogy. Yeah. And I like it better than Dark Knight Rises, but I don't like it as much as Batman Begins or The Dark Knight.
I would agree. I think this franchise is going to have a lot of potential. Obviously, they've greenlit the sequel, so I mean, Goyer and Snyder, I'm sure, are going to stick with it. They're not going to like fire them or anything. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, these guys are. This movie's made like $130 million in the opening weekend, so I think that I hope that they can learn from this movie and maybe see like, hey, we did all this action. Maybe people didn't want that much action. Maybe we can tell more stories. Hopefully, maybe we get more story in the sequel. I hope so.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Lex Luthor in the next one. What do you think about the tone of it? Like a lot of people complained that it was too dark, but I actually didn't have a problem with it.
No, I think it was too dark. I think if anything, it was too dark. It's just the way they lit. You know, not the lighting, but the After Effects, whatever they do to change the look. It looks like that bluish green that Christopher Nolan loves to use in The Dark Knight Rises. But the story still had hope. I mean, the whole thing is like, you know, you see it in the previews. It's like, you know, look, this is what the symbol means. It means hope. It's still that hopeful, optimistic. He still has that kind of that Boy Scout, you know, mystique about him. You know, he loves his Kansas Jayhawks. You know, I mean, he's just a farm boy. You know, and that's as simple as that. I mean, I don't think it got too dark. It wasn't Batman. You know, it wasn't. He was not brooding like Bruce Wayne.
No.
He was a little emo, but he wasn't as emo as like Peter Parker was in The Amazing Spider-Man.
I don't think his character was dark. What they did is because they wanted to make the situation much more realistic,
right?
And so I think the world around him was darker than people were expecting, and there was like maybe a few jokes here and there, but like it wasn't like, you know, like something like Avengers or Iron Man.
Yeah.
There's Star Trek.
Right.
There's like a lot of levity throughout it.
Right.
Where this was only had like little spots here and there. Every like 20 minutes there'd be a joke or something like
I
that.
didn't have as much fun watching this as I did like with an Avengers or Star Trek Into Darkness. It wasn't that kind of excitement, but I still really enjoyed it. But yet, I don't know. It's not. It's interesting. I think it was just I think it was just the rushing of the movie. I think that's what got me. It kept pulling me back a little bit. Like I really wanted to get into it, but then they just like kept forcing it. I'm like, no, slow down. Like I want to spend some more time with Diane Lane as Ma Kent, who was awesome, and Kevin Costner, who was awesome. Like slow down. I want to spend more time with them. Like,
I thought there was going to be more of them, especially Kevin Costner. I thought there would be more scenes with him.
Because it's not like I was thinking of another superhero movie. I was thinking of Green Lantern. Green Lantern, I didn't like Green Lantern at all.
No.
Green Lantern didn't have that great of a cast. I mean, especially like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively opposite each other just wasn't a good combination. This movie had a great cast. It had all the actors in place that you needed to make a good movie, and they could have spent time with them. I don't know why Snyder and Goyer felt the need to push, rush. I'm like, could have slowed down and spent a lot of time with these actors who I wanted to see more screen time with, especially the side characters.
I guess one of the problems I had with it was there was a lot of exposition in the dialogue.
Sure.
Like whenever they needed to explain something, they didn't really show it. They kind of said it. They had a character say something about either the situation or about another character.
They're terraforming. Yeah. What's that? Well, it's a process of blah, 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 blah. It's like,
even like with Lois Lane, I'm a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist.
No one phrases themselves like that. Yeah, right.
So I thought that was kind of one of those things where they could have done a better job of doing that.
Well, I think I've realized in watching more of Goyer's work, and I watched a little bit of Da Vinci's Demons, which is on Starz right now, watching this movie. When he's not with Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan writing stories, I don't know how strong of a writer he is. I don't think he's as strong as Christopher Nolan is. Christopher Nolan kind of, I know, helped out. I heard he had to kind of come in and help out with the script a little bit, but Goyer, his dialogue isn't the most. It's not something people can eat up and like you just spit out and it's like really good. It's
with the dialogue, there were some moments where they had some good lines, and then there'd be other.
He's not awful.
There'd be other times that there would be like cheesy lines.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of like hit and miss.
Right. And I could tell like Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan weren't in this as much as they're in the Dark Knight stuff. And then I can tell the writing's a little bit stronger, or like Inception a little bit stronger. But
what do you think of Lois Lane? Amy Adams as Lois Lane.
Amy Adams is a great actress. I don't know if I like her as Lois Lane. I think she was miscast. Not that I have an idea in my head to put who else would be in there, but because Amy Adams is great, but it's just, I don't know. I didn't feel Lois Lane when I saw her. I don't like Kidder either from the original. She didn't impress me, so I don't know. I've never really seen a Lois Lane on screen where I was really impressed with. I don't know. She did a good job. She's a great actress, but I don't know. I don't see her as Lois Lane.
You like Terry Hatcher and Lois and Clark? That's like my favorite Lois Lane.
Well, Terry Hatcher's a beautiful woman. Yes, that's true. Yeah, she's beautiful.
I actually didn't mind Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I do think there's like certain things that they kind of, did with her that were more superficial than like, get in depth with her character. But even with some of Clark's stuff too, it was a little superficial. I think they delved more into him as Superman versus his like alter ego Clark Kent.
Right. We didn't get a lot of that this movie. I think that might be safe for the next one. Hopefully we get the next one. I mean, I know they've supposedly greenlit a sequel, so there's a lot of possibilities in there. Some Easter eggs, hidden throughout that people were speculating about what the sequel might be about. So I think we'll get more of the alter ego, the Clark Kent, in the next movie.
Okay, before we get into our spoiler section where we talk about actual scenes from the movie, what would you give the picture?
I give it a B+. I'd stay out of the A range just because, which is where I put like Avengers, maybe Iron Man 3, the kind of the low A's, or just regular A, because it's just it felt a little rushed to me, and I wanted them to slow down. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. It's, we just saw it the second time right now, and I still like it.
Yeah, I give it like a B/B+. It's kind of in between. I saw it. Yeah, we just watched this for the second time, and I did enjoy it a lot more the second time. I think because my expectations were so high the first time I saw it, and some of the parts disappointed me, and so seeing it the second time, it was okay. I already know the flaws of it, so it was easier to kind of get over some of that stuff. Sure. All right, so let's talk about some spoiler stuff. Let's get into I think the main thing that people have been talking about is the ending. Yeah, the ending with where he kills Zod.
I actually really like that. I am not a Superman fan. I did not read any Superman comics. I've read Superman Earth 1, by Straczynski, which is probably what this movie's closest, link to in terms of comic books. But I like that. Even though I know Superman doesn't kill, he always finds a way. There's always some way out. He can throw him in the I don't know, up in space or something. He can always find something to not kill somebody. But it was realistic. I mean, he was put in an impossible situation. There was no other alternative he had. And he did mourn the fact that he did that, the whole screaming and kind of crying. I mean, I thought it was a great scene. I liked it because it was unexpected. What do you think? Was that too against Superman's character? Or?
I'm not one of those people who's like beholden to the comic books and stuff like that. And I think not to say, okay, it's like part of Superman's character to kill, but in that situation, they made it kind of almost impossible for him not to.
Right. Yeah.
Because if he didn't, then
the family was dead.
Yeah, the family was dead, and the way they had kind of been building with Zod, talking about how Zod was, never gonna stop.
Yeah, he was bred. I mean, Michael Shannon did such a great job just dishing out those lines. Just eating up those lines, just saying like, look, like this is the way I was born, this is the way I was made, this is my destiny, this is who I am, and yeah, he was fighting a guy against like that who was never going to stop. There's only one way to stop a guy like that, unless you throw him in the Phantom Zone, which is too late. Everybody's gone. Yeah, I love all the LexCorp stuff. There was even a Wayne Enterprise. I mean, all the Easter eggs. And there's a rumor going around. Now this isn't confirmed yet, but when Superman's in the ship, when he first gets in, the one that's trapped in ice for like 18,000 years or whatever, and there's a pod that's open. He kind of looks at it. That's the people are thinking that could be Supergirl.
Yeah,
it could be Supergirl
because there was a prequel comic book that kind of showed like how that pod got there and everything.
I'm down for Supergirl for the next movie. I'm down to see that. So we're gonna go to talk about the suit. How do you think it looked on camera? After now seeing it,
I mean, it looked cool. I mean, obviously it was supposed to be a more realistic suit made out of like mesh and whatnot, and the explanation of how he got it versus his mom making it out of the cloth that was cut, or that he was wrapped in. Right. I thought that was cool.
I liked it.
I didn't have any issues with it.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked some of the little explanations, like with the house sigils and all that. Yeah, I kind of liked the little extra detail they threw into this movie. So.
Okay, so how did you feel about the whole kind of Christian allegory of the story of Superman, Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's very apparent. I mean...
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's 33 years old. That's when Jesus died. It's like the whole cry. I mean, like, I'm sending my begotten son to this world.
To guide humanity.
I know. And that's the issue with Superman that I have in the comics. I'm like, how is this guy so faultless? Like, how is he without sin? He's human. Other people on his planet mess up. Other people on his planet have faults. But, like... He's always almost too perfect. Like, he never has any, like, he has Lois. He doesn't really, like, have any cheating problems. Like, sometimes he dates Wonder Woman. Like, he's not super relatable. That's why I was happy he killed Zod at the end. I thought maybe that'll help people kind of get into him a little more. I like that he was drinking beer, watching the Kansas Jayhawks football game on TV. He's drinking a Bud. Maybe that'll help. But, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there was a scene where he jumps out the spaceship in space, and he's in the cross position.
I was like, all right.
They go to church, and there's a shot of Clark, and then you see Jesus in the background. You know, it's been
on this planet for 33 years. It's like,
I mean,
really?
it's not subtle. I mean, the movie is not subtle.
And every writer, when you read comics, does it differently. Some plays that whole Christ-centric aspect of it. Some kind of less on that. This was a little bit heavy on it. I mean, I get it. I mean, he is the most Christ-like figure in comic books. I mean, at least mainstream comic books. But yeah, it was. Sometimes I was like, oh, okay, it's like easy, guys. You can reel it a little bit.
All right, guys. So that's what we thought of Man of Steel. You can post your comments below on the website and on our YouTube video.
And also come check us out on Twitter. I'm at GriffinDE.
Mine is at ThinkHero. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's ThinkHero Pro. And we also have a Facebook page that's facebook.com/ThinkHeroFans.